Why is America great? Well, it's great because it's one of the last places on earth where you can say great things. And the great thing is the truth. A society is free insofar as her people have the truth. And liberty, for instance, cannot flourish long in the absence of truth. So, this is a fancy way of saying if you want to celebrate America this particular year, then luxuriate in truth and speak it loudly. For instance, speak the truth about God, how not only He exists, but how He has blessed this land and kissed her shores with everything necessary for human flourishing. And you may take that for granted, but if you go and you live in other countries or even visit them for an extended period of time, you will see how incredibly exceptional America is. And this exceptionality doesn't just happen. It was fought for, it's being fought for, and it will be fought for. And we have to value that. So that's just one of the great truths that you can speak openly about here. Try doing that in North Korea. More specifically, we Christians can speak openly and evangelize openly. We cannot just take that freedom for granted. This is a beautiful thing in this country, is that I can knock on someone's door, I can on a street corner, I can at a state fair, I can tell people about the beauty of Christ's life, death, and resurrection, and I can boldly invite people to share that same faith with me. Come to church with me. And you can't do that in Saudi Arabia or India. Well, you can, but there will be consequences to be paid. So this is the great thing about America. It's this religious freedom that set it apart. And this generation ignores that to the detriment of the very freedom they enjoy. I had an experience recently on YouTube here wherein I posted a video. I'm a married priest, and I posted a video of my children from about 12 or 13 years ago playing church. And my daughters, cover your ears, were dressed up as, one was dressed up as a priest and the other were as, altar boys and whatnot. And they took cranberry juice, poured it into a glass, and they were pretending to give communion one to the other. And it wasn't alcohol, and in a religious rite of worship, we don't believe it's alcohol. We believe that that is truly the body and the blood of Christ. And what they were using wasn't alcohol, but the censors on Facebook, even after review, removed the video and gave me a warning. Now, this is absurd, because you can go on YouTube and you can find some things that are morally offensive, much more offensive than, little girls giving communion to one another with cranberry juice. And people may just be inclined to sit back and take that. But in a free society, you can't even allow things like that to be taken from you because it's all incremental. Is that little things like that, little freedoms, are eaten away. And after a while, it's no longer little freedoms about your kids, pretending to give communion to one another on a video being taken down on YouTube, but it becomes more monumental. Your ability to preach the truth from a pulpit, for example, or your ability to have a public religious procession. These are things that people fought and died for. And it's this thing that makes this country so great, is that the government ostensibly does not interfere in what you believe and your exercise thereof. Although recently we're seeing that that isn't always the case, that even here there are encroachments by government on the free exercise of religion and the free profession of it. We're seeing it not just from the government, but we're seeing attacks on this from corporate America as well. That if people do openly proclaim their truth, not so much about the existence of God, but in the moral sphere, how our faith impacts the way we live. And we're seeing encroachments against that from the corporate world. That if you believe these things and you profess them openly, you could very well lose your job. You will certainly be ostracized. But this fear of proclaiming the truth, is an attack on a flourishing society from the very institutions that benefit from a flourishing society, these massive corporations. So this Independence Day, make an effort to proclaim the truth. If you want to give thanks to God and you want to make a token gesture of gratitude to your forefathers who helped build this great country, proclaim the truth openly and exercise the freedoms you enjoy.